All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Denonu, and in this video here, we're just gonna jump right into it. I'm here with my homie,
Terrence D, what's up, y'all?
and we're gonna be talking about the this is a TV show or a online
Streaming
series.
streaming series, yeah, and from
Okay,
Amazon called Them.
okay,
It's made by Little something. I forgot his name. I'm horrible with. I can't remember names for this shit, man. You know this. Um,
don't worry, I got you here in a
Little.
second. Hold
Thank
on.
you. Little, and
Did
it came up Little Caesar. It's like, no, man, I don't want no pizza right now. Google, stop knowing that I'm fat. Stop
Little
it.
Marvin.
Thank you, Little Marvin. It's like a series created by him called Them. It's you ever seen Us? Pronouns.
The name sounds familiar, but
Us
uh,
is the Jordan Peele version of this. It's basically just a black horror video or movie. I think it's a movie. Yeah. So this is Them,
mm,
and all spoilers. This is a spoiler ridden type of video. So you may want to click off now if you've never seen this or if you plan on seeing it. This is one of those things. You remember how I told you I had a list of videos that I would never watch again?
hmm
Like Grave of the Fireflies is on that
yeah,
list. Berserk is on that list.
hmm
Now this
is on that
Them
list.
is on that list. It's probably higher than Berserk. I don't want to see this again.
Is that
I
because of the like content of what they did to black people in it, or
Yes.
the racism that was in it?
Yes, it's what they did to to this black family.
Damn.
It is fucking bad. And I'm actually disappointed that it was made by a black person. Like I literally thought that this was made by a white person for a second because like the way it feels is that this is somebody who is trying to apologize for them being white, so they make this to showcase like the black struggle and
hmm
showcase just how utterly horrible racism was in the 1950s. So, but no, it's not like that. Black person made it, and
Okay.
in the interview, I want to say this was like around like they were doing this around the time of like he came up with this idea because like the whole Trayvon Martin thing happened, and a bunch of other stuff that came out after Trayvon Martin. You know, basically
Mm.
everything that happened after that. He wrote this, and when I was watching it, I was like, the best way to describe this film in my words would be
Mm.
a angry racial fever dream.
So he was upset at white people, and he wanted to show them in the most vicious way possible. That's what you're saying.
That's what it felt like to me.
Hmm.
And if you were to take, if this was like a thesis class,
Mm.
and like your sentence to make a movie, like based off of one sentence would be like, this is why I hate white people. Like this is
Mm.
that would be this movie. Because honestly, after I watched it, I was like, I don't. It painted Christianity in a bad light. It painted white people in a bad light. Hell, it even painted black people in a bad light. Which
Damn.
just like, yeah, it disgusted me honestly. It
So
like
so
from
so
what I
who
saw.
was this show for? Like, if it's not.
Exactly. Who was it for? Because all the white people that I know, which is a few, not a lot,
Mm.
but everyone that I know that watched this movie only watched 3 episodes of it. They only got to 3 episodes and then they stopped.
Oh, because it made him
And
uncomfortable.
I guess, yeah, because like if you're white, why would you want to keep watching white people, torture a black family,
Yeah,
knowing that you're
unless
white?
you're super racist
Into
and into
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's the only thing is like if I would have think anybody that watches who would be white would be like they would be super racist and they'd be like, yeah, get those niggers.
Mm.
Because that's what it looked like. If you're black, you already know how bad things can get. So why
Yeah.
would you want to keep watching it?
Yeah, why would you watch it? Yeah. It would be different like if you could learn something from it, let's say like Roots or something,
Mm-hmm.
But like if it's just racism for the sake of racism, then it's like Because wasn't there another show that came out, but that was like Lovecraft Country?
Oh man, my goodness.
I mean, I've never
So
seen that either, but it's like that has some racism stuff in it
watch
too.
it, watch it,
Okay,
watch it.
okay.
Oh my goodness, though. So I'll get into that too. So wait, let me stop there as far as saying what's bad about it because I'm gonna keep going with that. But like for right now, the acting in it,
Mm.
holy crap, everybody was so good, so good. Like as a wannabe actor myself,
Mm.
I looked at this as a study. So if I ever go back and watch any of this stuff, I'm gonna go back and pick scenes that stood out to me and just watch those scenes over and over again just for the acting, like where these
Learning
characters
how
go.
to be better and
My
learning how
goodness,
they. Okay,
yes, like what they pull from the script. This guy Ashley, I forgot his name. Like it's Ashley something.
Ashley Thomas.
Yeah, all of these characters, everybody, the whole black family, everybody can act. Even the white racist people that were in it that I don't
Mm.
really know who they are, they were so fucking good. It made me think it's like, how could you be that? Like, how did you pull that out of you? You
You
have
had
to
to
be
be in there
pulling,
somewhere.
yeah, you have to be pulling that shit from experience, man. It's like,
Maybe they
because
got, if they're not like that, maybe they're family members or they got to,
holy crap. Holy crap. It was just one of those I was like, man, I would fuck them up if I saw them in real life. You racist bitch. You know what like it's
Damn.
so
Okay.
they were so good. It's just unfortunate that the story had like plot holes and it had like just this bunch of bullshit. So
Like, what's
let
the
me
main story like about? Because I remember you said it's about the black family moving into a white racist
let's get
town,
into that.
right?
Let's get
Why
into
would
that.
why would a black family do that, knowing racism exists back in the day?
1950s. I think this
Yeah,
was like 1950s. No, 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 no. When did World War II happen?
World War II ended in 42. So
42?
so that was like the late 30s coming into the early 40s.
Okay, so when did like Martin Luther King happen? Like
62, 63,
see
64, something like that.
that's why that's where it's like kind of iffy to me. Uh because it's stuff like this I don't think would happen during the 1950s. It seems like it would happen more towards the 1960s and 50s, but so
And
1950
this is
something.
and this is saying in Los Angeles,
Yeah, Compton.
because
So
you would think if it has a lot of racism, I would think the South.
you would, yeah, you would think so, but like no, like a lot of racism happened everywhere. Like
Oh yeah, I know that, but
there
usually
were
it's the
northern cities that was more
yeah.
racist than southern cities. Shit. That's why basically it's that southern hospitality. It's like it's one of those, hey boy, you sure do look tired. Go ahead, have you a sip of water before you get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
that kind of thing. um, so they came from South Carolina or North Carolina. I don't remember which one. They
mm,
came from that area and they moved into East or West Compton. I want to say West Compton. So Compton, that neighborhood was
mm,
majority white during this time. It was all white, very high, rich place. One of those
mm.
back then. The red line started here, where we keep out everybody that's black.
Okay.
The housing,
So
how
most
housing,
American suburbs,
yeah.
because that's why that got started too.
The housing association, like
Mm,
the giant corporations like banks and housing firms and stuff that took care of like all the residential housing and stuff like that. They had this plan, and you can see it in the movie or a TV show, where they would take houses that were on the market.
mm,
They would raise the interest rate to about like 20%, like some ungodly high number, and then they would try to sell it to black people.
mm.
So when black people moved in, nobody can afford 20%
Yeah.
during that time. So what they would also it was illegal. What they would do is like 20% for this black home that the black family that moves in. If they can pay
Mm,
it, great. If they
We're getting a
can,
lot of money out of them, but then if they don't, we kick them out.
yeah, kick them out, and then we just flip it to another black family, and they just do that over and over again. So the thing is, they move this black family in, give them a high interest rate. That in turn pisses off all the white people in that area, who
Mm,
then move away because they don't want to be around black people.
mm,
So now they move away, their house gets forfeited to the bank, and then they flip that to another black family,
So
20%
they want
interest
to move
rate.
a whole black population in there to get money and flip it and all that stuff.
Yep. And
Okay.
that's exactly what happened. So 30 years later, you still got people paying 20% interest rates and shit like that for some stuff that happened 30, 40 years ago that they can't really get from under. You know what I mean? It's
Mm,
like you got this plan, but even if it's a 30-year contract, you still
yeah.
have to pay that 20% interest rate, you know,
Hmm.
up until it's just finished. You know what I mean? You just 30 years is the plan, but that's not necessarily what happens.
Yeah.
So
You probably can't pay it all, and that 30 extends to 40, and then 50, and you still paying them.
mhm, yep. So that's basically how we got Compton today. It's a
Mm,
majority black ghetto type area. Well, it's getting more gentrified now, but you know,
It's
20
known.
years
It's known for the black area of
it's known for
Los
yeah.
Angeles.
So you have this family moving from the Carolinas to Compton. The dad knew that this area was majority white. He had
Mm.
all the paperwork before they even moved there. Which to me is like, hey, you kind of
Mm,
brought that shit on yourself, buddy. You knew what you was getting into. You know, like you knew
that's
getting
why
into some
most
white shit.
racists, oh, not racist, most races stick together. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why would one black man move into a neighborhood of white people, knowing how white people act? It's like, not to sound
Because
super racist against white people, but it's just like it's.
oh, you mean not to say facts about white people?
well, we on
Not
YouTube. I'm trying to
being
be PC, but
all right, but it's real though. It
yeah,
happens.
oh yeah, definitely does that. But
Shit.
like, no black man would do that. It's like, come on now.
So he did it because he wanted more for his family. He felt that his family deserved the best, and he's tired of these crackers taken from him.
But how is
So
that gonna give him the best? Like,
it's like better neighborhood, supposedly better education because he can put
mm,
his kids into like a better school, that kind of thing. But again,
don't,
plot holes, like plot
mm,
holes. I didn't like it. Like I didn't like the logic that they put into why this family moved into Compton in the first place.
mm,
They wasn't even getting a good. Well, supposedly he was getting a good value on the home. Supposedly,
mm,
you can make the home like, oh yeah, this is a fucking steal, but it's a 20% interest rate. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, yes,
They're gonna get their money out of you regardless.
yeah. $11,000 seems like it's amazing, right? But $11,000 with a 20% interest rate is like you paying on the interest rather than paying on the principal, you know?
Hmm.
And then especially when they give you like, here's the minimum that you can pay, but that
Yep.
minimum never getting onto the principal in the first place.
Yep.
But anyway,
So you're never paying it off. That's what banks want. They don't care about lending you money. They want you in debt. That's how they make their money.
good old Capital One, 25% interest rate. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, get the this is racist in the motherfucker.
Ain't shit changed.
Yeah. So so he moves them there. Let me give you a little backstory of what happens in North Carolina or the Carolinas where they were at.
Okay.
They have their first child. It's a son. He is a son. I'm sorry. First child? Third child. Third. Yeah.
Okay. That's a big difference, but okay.
Yeah, third. Yeah, third child. So what he does is that he takes his two girls to go see a movie because he really wanted for them to go see a movie. The wife stayed home with their newborn son. And when I say newborn, he looked like he was maybe 1 year old. It's like 1 year old,
Mm.
that's when you can walk, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Some babies. Yeah.
Yeah.
One
Like I
going on to two.
yeah, I probably like 7 months, 6 months, 6 months
Yeah.
old. Let's say some shit like that. So she's outside I think drying clothes, whatever. And this fucking group, three white people come along,
These
and
hoodlums.
basically it's one. white chick that I've seen all the time. She is go to the
Is she in the list of pictures here?
yeah, type in cat in the bag.
Cat in the bag.
Yep, them and then cat in the bag. Oh my goodness. Fucking disgusting.
Oh, like it was a
That
dead cat
lady.
in the bag.
No, the
This
first
lady.
one. The first one. That lady. I've seen her on so much stuff. I've seen her on oh wait, there's yeah. I've seen her on what was that show with Jason Bateman? Well, how did I remember his fucking name? Holy crap. Ozark. Ozark. I've
Oh,
seen her on
okay.
Ozark. And she in Ozark, she was a hick. She was like a racist ass hick who also took a baby in Ozark. But she's been known to play that kind of role. And she plays it extremely good, bro. I fucking hated this bitch as soon as she started walking up and talking. I was like, yeah, ain't
Mm.
nothing good gonna come from this lady. So she's walking with maybe two of her sons because they're like older. And I'm saying this in the most literal sense, the most like this is what this word is meant. They were mentally retarded. Her
Okay.
her sons were fucking retarded, bro. Because they were like giant, big hick type
Mm.
guys, but they were you can tell they were slow. And she was singing this song. I think it's called Old Time Joe or something like that. It's basically a racist song. It's about a slave being in like in the fields and shit like that, working all day, being
Mm.
tired. And it unsettled the mom a lot when she was singing the song. And you can tell that something's off about this lady. She kind of
Mm.
seemed retarded too. It's more like she stayed out in the sun too long. And she said something about uh she heard the baby crying in the house. And she was like, "Oh, is that your son? Is that your baby?" I was like, "Oh shit. Man, shoot this bitch, man. Like
Mm.
this is why you gotta have a gun. You know what I mean? Or a sickle or something. Like I need you to start
Did they
slicing
did
now."
they did they break in this lady's house?
Oh boy. So she was like, I need y'all to leave. I need you to leave right now because my husband's gonna be home. So she's like, "Oh, you mean the one that left with the two baby girls?" I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
So
They
they
was
watching them. Yeah.
staking the place out. They went to that lady home. She hid the baby in a closet. Right?
Mm.
They came in there. The two guys started raping her, held
Damn.
her down, and raped her. And then the lady, while they were doing that, the lady walked to the closet, pulled out the baby, kissed the baby, was singing a song to the baby, and then just kind of went crazy and put the baby into a pillow sack and just kept
Mm.
saying, "Cat in the bag, cat in the bag, cat in the bag, cat in the bag." Like, I was like, fuck, you know what happens when you put a cat in the bag? You either
They
go throw it
die.
in the river or, yeah, you start
Yeah.
swimming.
Or people beat on it or smash it on the ground or yeah.
So while she was getting raped by the biggest of the retards, but again, I'm not trying to be offensive. It's like it's again the most
Mm.
literal sense possible. Mentally retarded, slow. She was being raped by the big dude. The lady was passing the bag
Mm.
to the other guy, and they were throwing it back and forth while she was
That's
saying
fucked up.
"cat in the bag." And then when she finally caught it again, she literally swings it over her head, like
Mm.
helicopter style, bro, like swinging it as fast as she could. And again, the whole time, she's still being raped and held down while watching this. Remember
Mm.
Berserk? Remember that shit? Remember when
Mm.
home? Yeah,
Yeah.
like it gave me those flashbacks. It gave me those flashbacks. I was like, this is fucking disgusting. That scene went on for like 6 minutes, dog. It was a
Damn.
6 minute scene of a black woman being raped, watching her child die in front of her
Yeah,
while
you
this
you could have
man is
just
swinging
they
behind
could
her.
have did that if they wanted to be tasteful. They could have did it. They could have had him go in the house, had the mom scream, implied that what
It wasn't
happened
tasteful.
without showing it. But yeah,
It wasn't tasteful at all. It was to me purely shock factor. It was like, how much of this shit can we show?
yeah.
Because this is what people really need to see. They really need to see how bad it
Well,
was back in the 50s. It's like,
well,
fuck,
maybe they
dog.
wanted to. to show that to get people talking about it, but like, are people talking about the show or something?
Yeah, people are watching it, but none of the reviews are good. All the white people who are reviewing it, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's great." All the black people that's watching it, they're like, I
Yeah,
don't like this shit." You know what I mean? Like everyone has said it, like it's not for everybody.
yeah,
And I want to say on one of them, somebody said it's not for most. I was like, "You're damn right, it's not for most. It's not even for the few that watched it." It's like when you get to that part, because that's like episode 5. It kind of hints at all the stuff that's happening at episode one,
mm,
2, and 3 is like hinting at it because they keep kind of showing her show up to the porch, but they don't
mm,
show what happens after she gets into the house.
okay,
5 and 6 is like this is the flashback episode. This is like when you really see it. So when she swings this fucking baby around, she stops, and there's a spot on the bag that's bloody. It's
ah,
it's where the head
yeah,
was.
yeah,
And then she basically sits the bag down on the floor and it falls over.
no
Still,
movement in the bag.
no
Yeah, baby's
movement.
dead probably.
She tells them, "Let's go." Homeboy gets up off of her, and they literally walk out the house and walk aerial view, walk down into the woods, and they're just like laughing and
Mm-hmm.
singing. You can tell they're fucking crazy. And I'm like, God. So the lady, she picks the baby up and she's crying. Like, again, it showed too much. It's like, I don't need to see it. Why did I see
Yeah,
this? This shit is torture, bro. And like, it was torture for me just to watch that shit. The acting was like, as an actor, I was like, nigga,
that
you
was
want me
too
to do
good.
what? Yeah, you want me to do what? So you want me to get to the point where this lady is doing all this, bro? I was I was I was I was disgusted by how much they had to do. So in the
Mm,
interview, the lady who played Lucky, who was the wife, was talking about how the director made her feel as comfortable as possible, where she can say like, "I'm uncomfortable. I'm not comfortable with doing this. Blah blah blah.
mm.
Let's do the take." I'm like, that's cool. Like I'm so happy that she was able to be in a safe environment to do that kind of
Yeah,
thing
you
because
have to be because
crap, bro.
because you gotta as an actor, you gotta envelop yourself in the role, which is that messed up shit.
I didn't like it's to me. I think the scene was supposed to inflict anger and tears, but I was just angry. I was angry and disgusted.
Yeah,
It didn't make me feel sorry for her. It just made me feel disgusted, just in general.
yeah,
And
that would make me angry. Like, okay, please tell me the husband came home and went after those guys in the woods and killed them. Like, that's
I'm
what I
gonna
would
say,
do.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the overarching problem with this entire series is that there was little to no comeuppance. Did I tell you about that already? Have I said
No,
that? Yeah, you know what comeuppance are,
yeah,
right?
like yeah, they never got no punishment, or they the black guy
Not
didn't go after him. Nothing happened to him at all.
Well, like again, there was some, but
He didn't
in
kill him.
contrast,
Like anything other than just rampant
oh them
murder.
them three, they got away. Those 3 people got away.
Damn.
You never see them again.
Mm.
And I can kind of see like in context of like in the 1950s that kind of shit happened all the time. And yeah, you
Yeah.
got murderers that just walked away and you never see them again. It's like I understand how that happens, but then like the racism that happens in the neighborhood, it's
So
like what is
they weren't a part of the neighborhood or something.
no, that
Okay.
was their backstory. That was the PTSD that the wife had to deal with and the husband because husband felt guilty because he
Oh,
wasn't
so
there
this was before they moved to the white suburb town.
before they moved to Compton. Go
If that
ahead.
happened to you,
Mhm.
why in the hell would you move to a neighborhood full of white people?
Exactly. Why would you move
If anything, you
to where
move to a
there's more
neighborhood
white?
with no white people, with none but with black people, or like Hispanic people, or whatever.
It was the idea of fighting back. There won't be any more white people taken from us. That's what it was. That was the whole idea. Is like, no, they're not gonna take any more from us. It's
Except
like,
you accept all of your money with the 20% interest.
yeah, yeah. Again, like like the story didn't make sense in a logical standpoint. You know what I mean? It's
Mm,
like you threw that in there for shock factor, but it's like the character motivation in character motivation, they wouldn't go back to where there's more white people.
they
That doesn't
wouldn't.
make any
No.
sense.
If anything, like you would see the family move to a black neighborhood And then I would assume they would be the racist black people hating white people,
Yeah,
or being more militant or whatever,
they weren't.
you know, or like if you wanted to make a black couple serial killer type thing, and they just went around and started killing white people or something like that. That it's like you don't move into the we was in a neighborhood and that happened, and yeah, let's move to some other town with nothing with more crazy white people. It's like no.
Bro. So so you give the wife PTSD, right?
Mm,
Based on that. In the same movie, I mean, in the same series, and I'm talking about flashbacks first because these flashbacks happens over episodes. When you go
okay.
back to, there's also a part where you start realizing, oh, the dad has PTSD too. So during this time, even after they were done with
Mm,
that, the dad had PTSD from World War II. So he
okay.
served in the military. He comes back. I couldn't tell whether this was before or after that happened with the little boy
Mm,
because the mom acted like she was okay, right? She acted fine throughout this part of the story. So it was
mm,
like this must have happened before they even had that kid to begin with. Because why is she not crazy? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Over that shit.
She has every right to be.
Yeah. So I was thinking that it was probably like they showed this as the dad having PTSD and dealing with it before the
Mm,
thing happened with the baby. So dad comes back. They're eating dinner and he's sitting there. He's just like not there right now. He's just like fucking gone in his head. And I was thinking maybe he was thinking about like the little boy. Nope,
mm,
that's not it. He was thinking about the military.
mm,
So I'm just gonna assume because the show didn't do this in chronological order. I'm gonna assume that this is before they had their son.
mm,
Oh, actually, yeah, it is before they had their son because Ruby, which is their oldest daughter, was
mm,
little. She was little, and the other girl, Gracie, wasn't there. So they have dinner, and Ruby makes them a pie. She makes her dad a pie, like some kind of
mm,
blackberry pie, whatever fucking kind of pie. And he's about to walk off from dinner, and she was like, "Hey, but wait, we made pie." And he sits back. The wife convinces him to sit back down with them, so he
mm,
sits down, and she places this pie in front of him, and he's just looking at it, and he's disgusted, right? And he gets angry, picks the pie up, and throws it against the wall. He's pissed, like he's fucking
mm.
mad, bro. And Ruby thinks it was the pie or it was her
It
fault.
was her fault for making the pie. Really, it's the
Yeah,
dad.
it's the dad
The
dealing with
pie
shit.
reminded him of something that triggered him.
Like this is how good that scene was. And this is what I mean. Like individual scenes are amazing. The story as a whole is fucking disgusting. He's outside on the porch. The wife comes and consoles him, and he starts talking about his time in the military.
Mm,
World War II, he's talking about how they used to experiment on black people and what he dealt with. Yeah, that fucking pot. And you know what? That picture of that dude that's
this one.
fucked up. Yeah, that's like a hallucination that he was having of his time in the military. They experimented on black people
Mm,
with nerve gas and mustard gas to see what it does to the human body.
mm. Not the first time, but yeah.
Yeah, not the first time. Tuskegee Airmen, they
Mm,
they had their own thing, and then that was I think the Air Force.
yeah.
This is well, no, they didn't have separate branches back then in World War II, did they? It was just all Army, wasn't it? Or did they
I
have
think.
different branches? No,
Uh,
they did have
yeah.
different. They had an Air Force,
I know they had
Navy.
Army and Navy, but Air Force may not have been as prevalent
But
or
like
as
they had, sorry, airborne. They had their
yeah.
airborne version of the army or whatever, and that's what like Tuskegee Airmen was dealing with, like fucking syphilis and all this other shit that they were pumping into
Mm,
their veins. And then this version, which is like the regular infantry, they had to deal with like nerve gas and mustard gas and stuff being put on it by the government to see the studies and effects and
mm,
shit like that. So he was in that. He was talking about how he got it. He didn't get it as worse as other people got it. You know what I mean?
mm,
But he still remembers that shit. And he
yeah.
says, you think you say they call it mustard gas.
You think it would be yellow?
No, you think it would have like a mustard scent, but it has a sweet smell to it. He says that's what he remembers the most from the mustard gas. It had a very sweet scent.
Hmm.
And that sweet scent from the pie triggered that memory in his head, and that's why he fucking freaked out. And he was so upset because he couldn't even eat a pie that his baby girl made for him.
Yeah.
So that point forward, ain't no fucking pies in that family. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
ain't nobody making no pies
No
around here.
pies, no
None of that
sugar,
shit.
no, yeah.
None of that shit. If it smells sweet, it ain't being made around these parts. You know what I mean? So you get that, and that leads into what happens like later on, and it's like, oh shit. Again, scene by scene, these are great. The story as a whole is fucking stupid. So I'll come back to that.
Okay.
They moved to Compton, and we already talked about how they moved to Compton, right? They
Mm.
moved to Compton. Fucking white people everywhere. They see this shit. They're upset. They start planning stuff. Yeah, let's just look at that shit for a second. Let's just turn the sound up.
Okay.
Asshole.
Bigger than it looked in the pictures.
When I think of home, I think of a place.
My the wrong fucking song to add.
You couldn't imagine a nicer place to live.
I wish I was home.
Made this shit seem like it was a fucking dream.
See, that's creepy as hell, man. Nah, I'm not moving there. Nah. I'm good.
This home is ours.
You're a stupid black man.
This is how it begins, with one family.
Putting sugar in the gas tank?
We'll have to make this place
Worse.
What's worse than worse?
Heard them folks in Compton straight up evil, man.
Damn.
Fuck this.
There's something bad in this house.
Hold on. Sorry. But you said fuck them. The only thing I could thought of, like, you know how we paying them back? House party. I want you to call up all your family. We having a house party in the backyard. Blasting music and shit.
I don't like it.
We got our eyes on you.
We do this till it gets done.
Think of home.
Okay.
All right, so if you look at the trailer, you see where I say fever dream, like the same way shit just kind of popped up and randomly happened in the fucking trailer. It's the same way how it happens throughout the fucking TV show. There's no build up, like scene for scene. It's great, but like these scenes don't really go together. You know
There's
what I
no
mean? Like,
continuity that strings things together. Huh?
yeah, no. Character development. There's no real character development for any of these characters. They're just all either crazy or they're good. You know, one scene they're good, the other scene they're fucking crazy. There's no weird build up to it. Also, you saw the fucking ghost. Honestly, there was no reason to have a ghost in here because the racism was bad enough.
Yeah.
But then you add a racist ghost. It's like,
damn.
Yeah.
Maybe they did that because isn't like I haven't seen the other one, Lovecraft, whatever. No. But doesn't that have some supernatural stuff in it too? Because I know that came out. That's before this, right?
Yes.
So maybe that's why they was like, we need our supernatural thing, and
I'll talk about that. So that car wasn't their car. She did that to someone else's car that was moving. They were leaving, and she got upset that this white family was leaving away, and this white lady had more than she had, basically trying to keep up with the Joneses. So she put sugar in their gas tank, but that car didn't belong to the black family.
Okay.
So They moved to Compton. You saw what happened there. They had this little PTA meeting and shit in their front yard. They were basically doing everything to make them as uncomfortable as possible for them to move out. They said that they moved here because they thought it would be a better area. So technically, we have to make this area worse than what they came from, so they can leave. That was her idea. This one white woman basically was like the catalyst to bringing all these white people as like in front of them to do all this racist shit. So there's that. Moving from that, there was a ghost in the house, and this ghost ran all of Compton. It was like, yeah, this ghost wasn't just tied to their house; it was tied to the whole community.
It was tied to the white rage that was a part of the neighborhood.
Yeah, you know what? If you think about it, what you just said, that would be the deeper message.
The racism was empowering the spirit.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. They didn't do that. It just didn't make sense. So when they wrote their names on the deed to the house, on the deed it said that no race other than white shall occupy any of these houses, blah blah blah, or occupy this. It was a covenant. It was basically a covenant that by law they couldn't enforce anymore. That covenant was made by this fucking old Amish. I want to say Amish. Could be something else. Could be Mormon or some shit like that. Look up Man in the Black Hat.
Okay.
It was a covenant made by this guy way back when, like in the 1800s and shit.
This guy?
That guy. That dude. I'm gonna say that was Amish because they talked Amish. They had like their own like I want to say Dutch.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, he's been in everything.
Language. Yeah. And they had this town where these two black people they were escaping from their land or from like wherever they was trying to get to Canada. Their wagon broke down. He invited them to their community. So and during that time he said that he would like fix their wagon and shit. And I'm just like jumping all over the place. I'm sorry. But he said that he would fix their wagon and they can be on their way. The black couple was like, okay, but like they didn't really trust white people because they just escaped slavery. You know what I mean? They just escaped slavery. His kid just died, and he had prayed to God about like why did you take him and blah blah blah.
This is the black family or the man in the hat?
The man in the hat. I'm talking about the man in the hat right now. Basically the covenant, like how the covenant came to be.
Okay.
Man in the hat prayed about his dead son to God. Why did you take him? That kind of thing. Oh Lord, show me a sign now, blah, blah, blah. And he walks away and there is his kid in underneath these branches, like disheveled and everything like that. He picks him up and he adopts him. He thinks it's like, oh, sent by God to replace his son. So he's there and this black family comes along, the mom and the couple come along and he's like, the wagon broke down. The kid sees this and he tells the man in the black hat. Man, black hat goes out there and he invites them to come into the thing. The whole community. Now remember, this is supposed to be a whole Christian faith-based community, and they follow everything in the Bible, follow it to a T. And the man in the black hat is supposed to be the leader, but they don't really accept him as a leader. Not everybody, even though he's supposed to be.
Okay.
And they have him there, and they don't really like the black people. Like they're looking at him while they're sleeping and shit, you know, like with torches and stuff, just looking at him, you know, like they're just so fucking weird. And he's the one that's like, leave them alone, you know, like they're supposed to be our neighbors and blah blah blah. We treat everybody with respect and love, and like how it says in the good book. So there's this part where they have this, they're looking for water because there's a drought that happens, and they're trying to dig this well. And one guy who's basically against the man in the black hat being the leader, he's like, we shouldn't be digging here. We should be digging somewhere else because there's no water here. And they can't decide on what to do. And basically they're making fun of him. He's like, well, you speak to the Lord. What does he say? And so the black man, he's standing there and he wants to speak to the man in the black hat because it's been weeks now since they've been there.
Oh, and they never fixed their wagon yet?
Never fixed their wagon. They haven't done really any work. They just been given stuff. And he's like, we don't want to be given stuff. We don't really, we're not looking for charity. We're just looking to fix our wagon and leave, but we can work or do something while we're here. And so he's standing there. The fucking white dude was like, looks like your man is over here is all rude and shit because he ain't saying nothing. He's like, he ain't rude. He's just afraid, so he comes over, and that's when he tells him all these things. And the guy was like, well, how about he decide what we should do, since he's also sent by God or whatever you say. So he asked him, like, what does he think? He was like, okay. Takes his fucking hat off. He goes over to the well and he picks up the dirt and he's feeling it, pours it between his hands. He was like, if you keep digging here, you'll get water. And they kind of laugh a little bit. He was like, I don't mind digging, for you. He said, you probably only got like maybe 20 more feet to go. He's like, all right, have at it. He fucking goes down there. He digs, pulls up dirt, keeps going, and he comes up and he's fucking drenched in water.
Okay, so he did find it.
He found it, yeah. I mean, shit. He's a fucking slave. That nigga be out in the dirt all the time.
Yeah,
he knows where water at.
Yeah, he knows the field.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's right there on my resume. Been doing this a minute.
I mean, if anything, what he should have said was like, look, I think we have water here. It's only 20 feet. I'll dig this. You guys, if you feel differently, you can dig somewhere else. And we know eventually one of us is going to be right. He
didn't say all that shit. He'd be uppity if he did that. But so he strikes water, and now everybody's surprised. It's like fucking witchcraft. That's what it is. It's witchcraft because they just knew there wouldn't be no water there, and he was like, it's witchcraft. It's the devil. It's a demon. Blah blah blah. The man is starting to hallucinate now.
The man in the hat.
Yeah, I don't know.
So even he was on the demon thing.
Yeah, he started. Well, he wasn't on the demon trip, but like they was just racist. They started becoming racist. He started really fucking hallucinating. Like I thought he had a disease or some shit. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this dude. This is wrong place, wrong time for these black folks now. So, the little kid, like they're in this town meeting and they're talking about like witchcraft and all this other shit. They should kill them or send them away, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, nigga, fix their wagon and send them about their business. They'll leave, So the little kid finds this passage in the Bible and he gives it to him. Literally said something about how if something is alien, it should work for you, basically like a slave.
Damn.
I was like, hell no, like that's such a bastardized version of what's actually in the Bible when it talks about that whole thing. It's like talking about like beasts of burden and the whole like if it's alien to you, it works for you type thing. And he said that to everybody, took the scripture as being right, and now they enslaved these motherfuckers. They worked them like fucking dogs. The woman was inside the area sewing and shit. The other women around there are making fun of her, talking about how does the baby fall out because she was pregnant. How does the baby come out? Does it just get up and start walking like a horse? I was like, well, fuck these people.
Yeah, that's fucked up. It come out with a bigger dick, than yours. How about that?
Yeah, right. So they worked the black dude and basically called him lazy and all this other shit, and they threw them into a barn with the other animals, saying this is where we keep our livestock. So the little boy picks the lock on both of them and lets them out, and this is at night. And then they grab their horse that came with their carriage
and they leave. Yeah.
And when they tried to leave, little boy snitched on their ass. Said that they
he wanted them to get killed because otherwise they wouldn't have killed them if they kept them in there.
Yeah, they wanted them to get captured. So he's like, they're like, you're stealing from us and blah blah blah. It's like, but we're not stealing. This is our horse. You know what I mean? Like it's ours. And it's like, and they basically like slaves can't own anything. Farm animals can't own other farm animals. They're saying all the shit. So they have to punish them for stealing from him. So the man in the black hat, this whole time he's been hallucinating. He's been seeing demons and shit every time he looks at them. Like he sees like this weird alien type creature.
Mm.
They fucking take hot irons and poke out the eyeballs of them.
This sounds like two different shows.
Well,
Like
this is a whole one little flashback by itself. That's one episode. It's just this by itself.
okay, so they poke out the eyes and
Bro. And then so the white woman, I mean not the white woman, the black chick curses him. Curses you, white devil, blah blah blah. She's saying all this shit that like anybody would be saying who's been going through this kind of thing. So the place catches on fire. Like they hang them upside down and light them on fire. The whole place catches on fire. Now the guy's like, what the hell's been going on?
What guy? The man in the hat?
Man in the hat. Yeah, he's like, what the hell is going on? What have I done? Type thing. The little boy was a fucking demon. He's like, you called for prayer, and then the whole town catches on fire. That's why you saw like the whole town on fire. He's like, you called asking for God, and he never answered. I answered you, so I can give you a deal if you want it. Basically, like for him to live forever. So in turn, he would have to make a covenant, and his job would be to make other black people go crazy. Basically, it would extend his time on Earth. If he would fail in his job to do that, he would be sent to hell. So
why would he agree to that deal? I mean, unless the guy was like super vain or he was one of those people who like, oh, I don't ever want to die, or if let's say he killed somebody and he knew he was going to hell and he was like, all right, well, I'll do anything not to go to hell.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Let's just say that, yes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because at this point, he's already worshiping this entity because God didn't speak to him. The entity did. So it's like, why keep praying to God when the answer is already here? And
worship the God you see versus the one you don't see.
Yeah, he's already this far into it. So he makes the deal. And I was like, so that's how the covenant got started. I was like, oh, fuck, dude. So right then and there, you already tell me that Christianity is evil. That's the idea that I'm getting from this story, is that Christians are racist. And it happens in modern day life where you got conservative Republicans that are Bible thumpers, but yet they are also racist against black people when it says love thy neighbor in the Bible. It's just like, again, a perversion of what the book
selective worship, as I call it.
There it is. Yeah. That's what upset me about it. It's like, and it even talked about how like the black family is like, why would they pray when this is what you get? You know, they never, nothing ever comes from it. It's just like, fuck, dude, why do we have to have that? But all right. So that's how the covenant got started. She sees this writing and she's like, wait a minute, you knew about this shit and we still came here? And the dad was like, they're not taking anything from us. We own this. And even the white realtor lady is like,
the bank owns this. Like, what the?
I know. The white realtor lady was like, we can't enforce that covenant. That's by law, we can't do that. So with little red writing, with your some red words on this paper will make that go away. Basically, signing the signature will make that go away. So she gets in, and the realtor, she's in it. She's in on all this shit. She has like this little pact with the police officer that's patrolling the area. She gives him money for every black family that moves in. What he's supposed to do, he's supposed to cull the racism. Like when they're about to like haul off and kill these black folks, he shows up to stop it.
Pretend to be the savior. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he's like, he hates these N words too. You know what I mean? So you got all that weird shit that's happening, like the racism part that's happening during the story. White people have their own story outside of that, like how fucking Phil right here isn't happy with his housewife and shit. How the chick that poured the sugar into the tank isn't happy with her marriage. I didn't really give a fuck about any of that shit. Like those stories kind of like lasted so long that it's like, why am I looking like, am I supposed to feel bad for them? Or are you saying they're only racist because they have horrible lives, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
No one is racist because they got raped as a kid or because they have horrible lives. They're racist because they were taught racism through generations. That's it. And they didn't show any of that shit. They just showed these white people having miserable lives.
Well, you can hate somebody if you go through, like, let's say, like the black wife there, like you said, like she got raped. I can understand you hating white people because of that.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Well, I
it's
mean, like,
understandable, but
I'm sorry. When I said that, the it was implied that this white woman here
mm.
was touched or something or molested as a kid by her dad.
Oh,
Who's
what
white.
does that got to do with black people?
What exactly? What does it have to do with black people? They touched on that in the story, and I was like, why did they even have to be there? They didn't really have to be there. It was the only reason why she moved away from her dad in the first place.
Mm.
I was like, okay, so what? Honestly, I was like, fuck her. I don't care. Let
Yeah,
her,
yeah, yeah.
let
She's
whatever happen
a
to her.
yeah, she's a racist asshole. If that's all you're gonna portray in the show, then like
Yeah,
it would be one thing if the racism was an act to get everybody to leave, but no, if they were
yeah,
truly racism then, or
yeah.
racist, then like yeah, fuck them.
They were truly racist, and none of their like family or any of that like talked about racism like or black people like that. They didn't care because they was
Mm,
already well off anyway. It was like she was just disappointed in her. So like all the white people's stories didn't go anywhere, and it didn't really matter. It was just how they affected these black people. So I'm just gonna give you this broad like the racism from the people from the white people really bad.
mm,
Let's move on from that shit. Talk about the ghost. This
okay,
fucking ghost, man, in the black hat, had four different ghosts, one for each member of the family.
okay. So
Yep,
the man in the black hat was the ghost, or was he just a person walking around that knew about it?
he was ghost zero. The man in the black hat, like he became his own ghost, right? Or
Okay,
demon or entity. You can see that. Like go back to the man in black hat.
okay.
The one over on the far left.
This one here.
Yeah, that's how he looks to Lucky, who's the wife.
Okay. Oh, so he took on a different appearance for whoever saw him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's like
So
Galactus.
remember, he is a ghost of basically all the black people in Compton. There was a previous black family that moved into Compton where the wife had killed the husband and the kids, and she ended up in a mental institution. That's how Lucky knew
Mm,
about the man in the black hat, even though he showed up periodically in the home and it scared
mm,
the fuck out of him. And the dad was like, I don't believe none of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, stop, you're scaring the children because she's already supposedly crazy from what happened with the child.
mm,
Um, they don't want any more attention being brought to them because she had mentioned something to the cops about how there was this white woman, Vera, who got into the house and killed their dog because the dog ended up dying.
mm.
Somebody in the neighborhood talked about how they should kill the dog or whatever to start getting them scared of like being there, but none of them did it. It was the ghost that killed the dog.
Okay.
Which as soon as you fucking kill a dog, nigga, I'm already like, I quit. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, that's why like in
Don't hurt
most
him.
movies, whenever they want to show, prime example, John Wick, whenever you want to show somebody being bad, show them doing bad shit to dogs or like babies or kids. That's why
Yeah.
they do that.
I mean, fuck cats, but like you kill a dog, fuck you, dog. So the man in the black hat shows up to Lucky. The man in the black hat antagonizes Lucky with saying shit. And the only way that this ghost can really attack black people is if they already have despair in their hearts, like insecurities.
Which is mostly
And
everybody at some point.
exactly. So everybody in the family has some form of insecurity. And I'm looking like, that's a stretch right there, but okay. Yeah. Damn, she's beautiful. Anyway, so
Mm,
the ghost that shows up for her is the man in the black hat.
okay.
The ghost that shows up for Henry is damn. I keep wanting to say jigaboo. It's not a jigaboo. It's like
The one
he's
guy
a
with the face paint.
mhm.
Okay.
He's a black man in blackface.
Mm,
He is like the shuck and jive character. He's called the tap dance man.
okay.
The ghost that shows up for Ruby is Doris, who was a white classmate, like a pretty white girl.
Mm.
The ghost that shows up for Gracie, who was their smallest child, is, I keep wanting to say, a Catholic teacher named Miss Vera. Miss Vera is a school teacher
Mm.
that is like in her like little kids book. It's a and the book is called like Miss Vera Says, and it's like a one of those learning books where it's like Miss Vera says this is what happens, blah blah blah. Miss Vera says this is what happens. Like that's just how the book goes. So how these ghosts antagonize people, I can tell you that real quick.
Mm.
The ghost that antagonizes Gracie, which is Miss Vera, basically just antagonizes Lucky because that's her daughter. And this is how this shit don't make sense. Lucky says, how do you know Miss Vera? She said that Miss Vera has always been around, but Miss Vera has only started messing with us until they moved there.
Okay.
So I was thinking like, okay, so has this ghost even been with them in North Carolina, but only the kid can see her? Or is
An
it
imaginary friend or something like that?
exactly imaginary friend that just the ghost tied itself to? That wasn't really explained. And for some reason, the ghost was tied to this book that the kid didn't even keep this book on her all the time.
Mm.
It was just tied to the book, which again didn't make any sense because you destroy
Okay.
the book, you
Throw
destroy
away
the
the book.
spirit.
Yeah, burn it.
Yeah. Again, didn't make any sense. So while they're like, Miss Vera was a school teacher. The black chick was a teacher too. She was a school teacher in the Carolinas before they moved to Compton. She wasn't a school teacher anymore. She became a housewife when they moved to Compton.
Okay.
And I took it as so the Miss Vera, I don't really know why the little girl like had the ghost in the first place, other than the ghost was just trying to attack
Mm.
Lucky indirectly. How I took it was like how I tried to look into how I reached for some kind of like reason why she would have the ghost is Miss Vera was trying to take over as not caregiver but knowledge giver to this little girl.
Okay.
Because that's how shit goes. Like in today's educational system, even back then, when you take a kid from home and you put them into school,
Mm.
they learn all the facts that white people want to give them.
Yeah.
That those teachers gave them, which could necessarily be the fakest shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these white people did everything great. Christopher Columbus discovered America. We wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be here if it wasn't for Christopher Columbus. All
All
right,
those
motherfucker.
lies.
Yeah, we know the truth now, but back then they would force feed all this bullshit to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Like that food pyramid.
And then so when you have someone who's in kindergarten and they're like fresh mind and they're learning all this stuff,
Impressionable.
Yeah, they're impressionable. But you also have this black woman who's a teacher. So who would be best to teach her little black kids? Her or some racist woman in the school? So to me, they kind of showcase like, okay, maybe systemic racism in education. You know what I mean? That's what I want to take it as.
Try to find some kind of message in it.
Trying to. Because when they killed that ghost, the Gracie said a line. She was like, "You will never be mama." I was like, "Oh, that's what it is." The whole replacing of the mother by the school teacher, because that's what happens. You spend more time with the fucking teacher at school than you do with your own mom. So like, Vera was replacing her. I was like, fine, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Fuck it, whatever. That ghost is over and done with. You can see who Miss Vera was if you want to type that in.
So it was 4 separate ghosts? Like it wasn't the man in the hat being 4 different ghosts. It was just 4 separate entities.
No, it was 4 separate ghosts that were from the same entity. So he just showed up.
Okay, so they were a part of him.
Yes.
Okay. Did destroying them make him weaker or something like that? Because why break it up? But
nope. It was just one of those like, how do I, as a ghost, how do I go into the hearts of each one of these members of the family the easiest way? And it's to prey on their insecurities. And her insecurity as Gracie was
Okay.
Miss Vera she was scared of this fucking teacher. And again, she showed up as like a Catholic school teacher.
So they dispelled the ghost. They didn't kill it because it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They dispelled that version of it from within Gracie. Took it out of her heart where she doesn't show up again. Whatever. I don't know. It was fucking weird. And then Ruby, she had the white girl, right? In school, she again systemic racism. That's how I was trying to look into it. What the fuck is going on here with Ruby? She was in school. A part that stood out to me was that when she was in class, she had raised her hand to
the part in the trailer, and they all made the monkey noise and stuff. Okay.
Because she got it right, and they all fucking jumped up and hooted and shit. The teacher called her over because I thought she saw how upset she was to get her out of there so she could be more comfortable. She wrote her this pass and sent her ass to the principal office because it said she disrupted the class. I was like, look at this bullshit here.
You got to fix your camera too.
Oh.
But yeah, that's messed up. So the teacher was in on it too.
Yeah, give me 1 second. See if I can do this.
Right, there you go.
So she sends her to the principal's office for disrupting the class. Again, systemic racism in the educational system where black kids are more likely to get detention, get in trouble, all that kind of shit, just for being black, as opposed to their white counterparts. So she's in the principal office. Right next to her is this little white girl who becomes her friend. She's like, you're pretty for a colored. I was like, and there it is. There's the fucking. It's always that last line, man.
Yeah.
You're pretty or colored. Okay. So they start becoming friends, and I was like, okay, I don't see anything wrong with this. And then I kept watching, and it was, you can see how she was so separate from the rest of her classmates that she was like the outlier for being black. But her friend, was there for her. They was always playing together and all these things. And you can tell that after a while you start seeing that, oh, she's imaginary. That's the fucking ghost, because they're doing shit and she's not there. And she's hallucinating and seeing all this stuff in her mind that's not really going on around her. So they end up like in the janitor's closet and they're talking and stuff like that. And you can tell that there's some kind of sexual tension and shit. And I was like, okay, this is fucking weird. And Ruby starts liking her because she's like, you're so pretty. You know what I mean? Like, you're, because she was white.
Yeah. That whole stigma. If it's white, you're beautiful. And if you're black, you're not.
Yep. It started making her do that self-hate thing. And I was like, that would be an excellent lesson to give here. But the showrunners weren't showcasing that lesson good. You know what I mean? I had to reach for that. I had to be like, oh, that's what's going on. Because what they said was, no, the reason why this ghost is fucking with her is because she is scared of being her mother. I was like, get the fuck out of here, dog.
Okay.
Really? A few scenes basically talked about how the mom was crazy. And they had a scene where Ruby and Gracie at their old home was up in their room was like, we're not going to be like mama. We're not going to be like mama. They were chanting that, like basically trying to make a promise to each other that they're not going to be crazy like their mom.
Was the mom crazy at home or? Okay.
Yeah. This is back in North Carolina, like after.
After. Okay.
She's walking outside with this fucking cloth, with the cloth that the baby was in, but spoiler alert, the baby was still in the fucking cloth, bro. She never buried the baby. Yeah, crazy. So they're like, we're not going to be like mom. They didn't really showcase that throughout the entire thing because she still.
Wow. I'm just looking at the trailer and I'm guessing that's the part you were talking about.
Yes.
Did she like paint her face or some shit or dip her hand in there trying to be white?
I'm gonna get to that, my nigga. I'm gonna get to that shit. So.
Because white people are porcelain like that.
So her ghost was like, okay, you're crazy just like your mama. You know what I mean? You need to be put away or killed because you're so fucking crazy. But I was like, why even do the self-hate thing then? You should have
Yeah.
just went through the self-hate route, and that would have been easier to understand than your mom is just crazy. She's old enough to be in high school. She knows why her mom is fucked up. Look what happened to her baby. You know what I mean? There would be no reason to fight that. Fight that idea. So they're in there, and she's saying how pretty she is. Fucking janitor comes in and is like, "What are you doing here? You ain't supposed to be in here." Guess who it is? Fucking Tuvok. Tim Russ. I was like, I haven't seen this motherfucker in forever. I'm so glad that he was on here.
Okay.
He was borderline mythical Negro, like mystical
Yeah.
Negro. Like he said a few lines here and there. I was like, oh, look at that. That kind of makes sense. He was like, you shouldn't be in here. Your parents, spent a lot of money for you to be here. Like you smarter than this. I was like, oh, fuck out of here. Come on, man. Say something better than that shit. Say something like, what the fuck were you doing with that paint, girl? You know what's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
say some shit that makes sense. So the ghost convinced her to try out for cheerleaders. She went into the basement.
Okay. In an all white school, I presume.
Yeah. She had this little pep rally thing that didn't really happen down there, like this cheerleader squad thing that didn't really happen because it was just all in her head. In the room, in the the what do you call it? Janitor closet. They ended up kissing. I think, or got close to it, and then she painted herself. Now this is during homecoming.
Okay.
Wow.
She pulled a reverse Carrie, like
yeah, she did whiteface. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So she did whiteface, went out into the football field or wherever field they was at where they were doing the pep rally thing. All these high schoolers are out here, all of them. Seniors, juniors, all of them. And she walks out there, paint everywhere, white paint all in her hair, all on her face. And she gets out in front of the bonfire and she's looking at these people and she starts doing a fucking cheerleader thing. I was like, she's dead, right? She's dead.
Yeah, so like they're gonna make fun of her or like
they're gonna lynch this girl. That's what I thought. There's no way you can do whiteface, go out there and try to be a cheerleader in their uniform with all these fucking kids, all these hormones and anger and shit running them up. And nothing happens to you.
Well, was that getting them mad? I mean, in the show,
they looked like they were pissed and kind of confused.
I'd be more confused. Like you like if somebody doing that, they're mentally deranged.
Yeah, but like, yeah. As much racism as they showed in this thing, I was like, it has to be more than that. They cut away from that and they cut to them like, Mom, something's wrong with me, and she's still in all white. I was like, nothing happened to you, nothing. So we show a mom get raped in front of her kid while she's trying to save her baby, but we don't show anything that happens to Ruby when she does whiteface in the middle of the night at a bonfire away from school with all these white kids around, and nobody beat you, hurt you.
You mentioned that bonfire. I thought you were gonna say like they pushed her into the bonfire or some shit.
Just saying, it would have made sense. Like as much as they showed, it would have made sense, but nope, they didn't show it. Nothing happened to her. I was like, all right, that's fucking weird, but okay. The one time that I thought that some dangerous shit was gonna happen. So self-hate. The way Lucky dealt with that shit was she was talking to the ghost. Like Ruby was talking to the ghost. It's like, you're just like your mom. So she has this fucking thing in her hand where she may kill her own mom for being crazy, thinking that her mom is gonna hurt her like she hurt the little brother.
Okay.
Her mom was like, I would never hurt you. Like I don't know what you're thinking that happened, but something did happen, and I can talk about that if you want to, but I would never hurt you. She puts down the knife, that ghost goes away. I was like, that's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, that sounds stupid. When you're telling it to me, I was like, well, so yeah.
I was like, so you just dealing with insecurities about your safety with your mom, not necessarily that she's crazy or the self-hate thing.
What does the self-hate and the paint got to do with your hating your mom?
Nothing.
Well, I mean, she has to be fucking crazy. I mean, she would have to be like somewhat messed up to be doing all that, because right?
other than like her hating her skin color because her mom was also dark, but it's like no, it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. So 2 down, 2 more to go.
Okay.
The dad's an engineer in this white place, and there I forgot that aeronauticals or some shit like that, space or something. I don't know. I forgot what they were dealing with. I think planes. They were dealing with planes and engines. So what he had to deal with was basically office politics, and I was like right there with him. I was right there with him. I was like, yeah, fuck the office, fuck these managers. I completely understand. I dealt with that shit too. I get it. So his thing, when I looked into it, I was like, his thing has to be code switching, right? Because when you're in front of like white people, like authorities, cops, boss, you have to you got to be the jigaboo. You gotta do the dance.
You gotta play the game.
You gotta do the jazz hands, bro.
Shuck and jive.
Exactly. You have to. That's what I was thinking about. All right, like, okay, his thing is code switching. He doesn't want to be seen as that Negro. That's yes, sir. You know, like don't like the guy was talking to him, like the tap dance man. He said, I was thinking, he's like, don't ever let them hear that you thinking, boy, what you trying to do? Get us killed? Well, I was like, holy shit. The guy that they got to play that character, he played it so well, bro. So
he looks creepy as hell.
He had the biggest teeth, the smile, I was like, holy, the way he ate popcorn, the way he talked, I was like, fuck this character, man. He's so good. So he didn't want to be that shuck and jive character because he felt that's how all white people saw him. That's where he was going crazy. His boss was disrespecting him, like all kind of shit that happened at the office. But basically, his boss disrespecting him and like basically like scolding him for shit that he didn't really do, and he was supposed to take up more slack, more of the work, get paid less, that kind of thing. You know, do what I say, not as I do, type thing.
So he had a shitty job.
Exactly. To me, I was like, I don't see anything different than what I was doing when I was working like for the company that I was working with. You know, like I had to do the shuck and jive thing too. It's called code switching. Nigga. This is what we have to do. But in my mind, that's the idea of that character. It's the code switching part. I didn't have anything against that. I was like, you know what? That's the only thing that actually that's the only ghost out of all these ghosts that actually makes sense for the context of what he was currently in. And he also had PTSD from the war. So to get him out of that, he was basically talking about how, and that ghost got him to do a lot of shit. It got him to do crazy shit.
How long is this series?
It's 10 fucking episodes, and each episode is like an hour, almost an hour.
All right, I might check this out tomorrow.
It's 10 hours, bro, of shit that they could have did in 5. Like
everything's drawn out.
It's drawn out for no reason. I'm giving you cliff notes, but all this shit happened over 10 hours. Can you like I'm warning you now. It's like when you watch it, it's not gonna make any sense. It's gonna be like, this is just like, I don't know why they did this. But again, you're not squeamish like I am, so you can. You can. But
so how did the dad get rid of the tap dance guy?
I'm gonna get to that. So this is what happened. So as all this shit is accumulating, you know, where the guy gets the can thrown at him, this white woman gets kidnapped by the milkman. Some shit happens there where the milkman has been infatuated with this chick, but they don't really showcase that. They make it seem like he wasn't infatuated by her. Let me get to the comeuppance part.
Okay.
Remember how I said there was no comeuppance in this? There was some, but not as much as it should have been. After all the bullshit that happened, they put like the little black kids hanging in their yard and the little black dolls in the yard. And what was it? They wrote "nigger heaven" in the yard and fire. They left all that shit there. It was just like the white woman came out one day after they left it up because they saw that it wasn't affecting them. It pissed her off. She came out. She's like, so when are you gonna clean this shit up, like this mess and blah blah. Yo, Lucky, after all this like ghost shit and everything that's been happening, she gets fed up. She comes outside, walks up to this woman, slaps her dead in her face. Just whack. And she's like, do something. People come outside, they're looking at this, and she's like, I can snatch your ass up before they even come out of their porches or some shit like that. Basically, they're just having this little squibble back and forth. And she's like, the white woman says something, and then like again, like Lucky gets the last word. It's like, well, the good thing about neighbors is you know where I stay. And I'm like, all right, that's funny. And she walks back inside. The white woman gets upset. She goes inside, breaks all kind of shit. She's upset because her husband isn't as racist as she is and doesn't really want to do anything. She gets kidnapped by the milkman. Milkman ends up killing her ass. Her story ends there. And I was like, what?
Milkman sounds like the hero.
Exactly. But Milkman is just as racist as she is. Used to be in the Klan and everything. She said that I need a favor from you. The milkman was supposed to go over there and assassinate the black family. That never happens. She gets trapped inside this silo, this like underground bunker, and the milkman is like she stabs the milkman with like a corkscrew or something like that for like wine opening because he's like trying to do this whole courtship thing. He's like, if you really want to leave, you can, blah blah blah, and he gets up and walks out and keeps the thing unlocked. This nigga's on his porch with a sniper rifle. She gets out.
Damn.
She gets out, tries to run away, and she's so far away she can't see where this dude is. Shoots this chick dead. She's dead on his farm. That's where her story ends. I was like, what?
That seems like a tangent that didn't have to be there.
It didn't have to be there, but it also ended her story. Like, it's like there's no more feud between her and the black people because now it's like she's had her own story. And the only thing that really kind of picks up from that is that since she's missing, the men in the area are like, nope, she's gone. Your wife is gone. We need to go over there and see why she's gone because these black people kidnapped her. It was basically just a reason for them to invade and do the shit that they did. The woman is gone. She got taken into a crazy home or some shit like that because
the black wife.
Yeah, she got taken to a crazy home. I forgot how that happened, but I remember. The guy was like, "We need to leave because black dude shot a cop." The same cop that was trying to protect them, like that dude that showed up, that was trying to protect him or whatever. He had said something at the wrong time, and the Jigaboo man had already talked to him. Like the Jigaboo man was already in his head. And he was like, so we got this white woman missing, basically the same chick that was missing. You know anything about that? He was like, no, hope that bitch is okay. And he was like, excuse me? He was like, I hope everything is okay. I was like, nice. And he was like, I was thinking maybe I should, since you don't know anything, maybe I should talk to your wife or something like that. And that's when he snapped. He pulls out his gun, his 1911 that you've been seeing in the thing, and he pops this dude.
Damn.
In the stomach. And then
don't let that man suffer, huh?
No, he didn't. He didn't. As the guy was kind of like trying almost reaching for his gun and shit like that, he said something and then he blows dude's brains out. Shit splatters. I was like, come up and but at the same time, it's like you gave it to the wrong cop. Even though he was racist, he was the least like outwardly racist one out of everybody that could have, like when the first cop showed up, because they showed up before, because Lucky went out there waving a gun at everybody like, fuck y'all, leave my family alone, because they killed the dog. When his partners showed up, they was like acting like they was gonna kill people too, because they was pointing a gun at the kids and everything. So they killed this cop. That's when he's like, yo, we need to leave. I just killed a cop. He didn't say it, but like you can tell that's why he wants to leave, because something is wrong. He's starting to scoop everybody up, and people are outside. They look at this, and like the white guy, the three white guys, one of them, the one that just threw the can, he has a gun in his hand, and they're about to go over there and kill this person. But then they see as they're packing up, getting ready to go, Lucky has this had this box that she's carried around with her since Carolina.
Okay.
When Harry went back inside to go get everything to go to bring the shit back to the car, he sees the box and the initials of his son is on the box, and he's like,
she kept the son in the box. Damn.
He opens the box and there is the sheet, like the pillowcase with the blood stain and the body still in it. And he comes outside, he's crying, bro. He is bawling and he's like falling over. Why did you keep him? Why did you? And it shows a little mummified baby head. Shows the face and everything, bro. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this?
Yeah, you ain't had to see that.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? And so because everyone sees that, apparently racism stops because everyone is feeling for this guy, I guess. Because yeah, exactly. Because the same dude that was gonna go over there and kill him, I'm like, why did you stop? Regular, like real racist people, like in
they
the
wouldn't
50s,
have stopped.
show, they wouldn't have stopped. They wouldn't have gave a fuck. They'd be like, oh, we need to put these motherfuckers out there.
We were gonna kill him anyway.
Exactly, because they're being weird. You know, we should kill them. But that doesn't happen. Then you see Lucky in a psychiatric ward because apparently people think that she killed the baby, kept it in the box. That's not what happened. They don't believe the story that white people killed her baby.
But wouldn't they have? Did they just not tell the police or nothing when it happened in Carolina?
They don't show it. They don't talk about it. They just
they just pretended this shit didn't happen. Yeah, because that's always good.
Yeah. So in the psychiatric ward, the husband shows up. He was like, "Let me talk to my wife. I want to see her." Blah blah blah. They involuntarily put her in there, like the cops. He's trying to get his wife back out. He's trying to tell them what happened. They don't believe it, and he's like, "Well, we're holding her to see like we can help." Basically saying that she has PTSD, and we're trying to get her out of that. What was going on is that the white woman that owns the place, she was trying to keep her there because the more people they have there, the more funding they get. And what's going on is that she was actually like giving every black woman there lobotomies to keep them in there. And Lucky was next.
Yeah, medical institutions been doing that for the past couple hundred years. Yeah.
Yep. And they would lie to her saying that the husband didn't want to see her and thought that she
of course they did, yeah,
and all this other bullshit. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Okay.
Right quick, let me backtrack a little bit. Let me go back to that pie.
Okay.
The thing that was happening in this family, and I know this is a long video right now, but the thing that was happening was the dad was like, you need to suck it up for our kids. Because the mom was like, shit is going on. You can tell that she was kind of becoming unhinged. And it was one of those, if I can do it,
you can do it.
Yeah. And that was, to me, that was kind of tough to see that, because like I don't think a real black family would do that. They would listen to each other.
If anything, it's the man who would be like, "Don't worry, I'll handle it," or whatever.
Yeah. Well, he said he would handle it, but it was a lot of toxicity there. It just seemed like it was one of those stuff isn't as bad as it is, you know, or as it could be, you know. So what she did one day, she's sitting down to dinner trying to pretend like the good housewife like he wants. This bitch, this petty ass bitch, serves this motherfucker a piece of pie.
Knowing what it's going to do to him. That's fucked up.
Knowing what it does to him, bro. As the girls were sitting there
eating. That's like him like making, like, I don't know how you would make fun of her rape, but it's like, that's yeah, you don't do that shit. Not to your fucking husband.
Bro.
Not to somebody you're supposed to care about. Like, nah, you don't do that shit.
Again, this scene, like, again, if I ever had to go back to a scene, this scene was oof, boy. She's sitting there crying and kind of laughing a little bit. I was like, oh, she's fucking crazy. As she's laughing a little bit and crying at the same time, he's sitting there like gagging, and he has tears coming. This motherfucker digs into that pie and he's fucking eating it, bro.
Damn.
He's eating it in front of her face. Like, basically, I'm gonna choke this shit down.
If I can do it, then you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just like, And he's fucking tears, like tears running down this dude's face. And he's eating it. And he's just like looking at her. And she's crying. Like now she's crying like she has regrets that she did that shit to him.
Oh, you baby, I shouldn't have did some shit. Yeah, you done shit.
That whole scene was like, it's amazing what actors can do, but then like at the same time, it's like, what writer? I don't know if it's the directing or the writing. It's like, why is this a thing, bro? Like, I don't understand it. That's the kind of shit that's like, black families are unstable. That's just showing me PTSD and black families being unstable, and then white people are racist, so I should hate everybody. And I should hate Christians. So that was the pie thing that I wanted to talk about. So with the damn, where did I leave off before?
Mental institution.
Mental institution, thank you. So in the mental institution, it was the racist ghost that was fucking with all the black people in there too. So it was Lucky's turn. And that's when she shows up, like that's when the man in the black hat shows up and he really talks to her. This is when like she really finds out who he is, what he does, type thing. And he's calling her a cow, he's calling her a beast of burden, he's calling her all kind of bullshit, basically like she's disgusting and filth and stuff like that. And she needs to be cleansed. And I was like, damn, that's where the Christianity comes in, huh? And she escapes by preying on the sensibilities of like the nurse, the guy, the attendant that's there. She's like, I need to use the bathroom. And this when he was about to give her that injection, he unbuckles her so she can go use the bathroom. She takes the syringe and stabs the dude in the neck, knocks him out. She goes and she puts on her clothes and she's trying to walk out, and she walks past the door where the white woman that owns the place was about to do a lobotomy of a black chick that was in there. She walked past, she came back, she was like,
I'm gonna fuck this bitch up first.
Bro, she looked at the window and then walked on. I was like, okay. And then she walked in that bitch and she took that bitch's head and wham.
Oh, that's like, the scene with the sink in the mirror.
Yeah, bro. Well, no, one of them. The sink in the mirror was where the ghost had threw Ruby's head into the glass to to kill her. But no, she had threw her head against like this porcelain tile and against the sink. And I was like, did they kill her though? she killed her. And then she looked at the black chick and then immediately walked out. I was like, damn, you didn't untie her? But she was able to untie herself. I was like, she's about to get a lobotomy. She could have untied herself to begin with. Like, all right, whatever. Moving on. She gets to the front door. There was a black man who's a security guard. He's sitting there like reading a magazine. She gets to the front door and she stops. He looks up and he sees her and she stops and she's like scared that he's gonna try to get her. And he's just looking at her. And then he looks back down this magazine.
So he was like the guard from the Batman, from Batman. Like, I want no part of that.
Yeah, because he knew that she was trying to escape. He was like, "Go and get out of here." You know what I mean? Like, shit, I ain't see nothing. Get out. I was like, "That's dope." That was like one of the best, funniest, and most relatable parts of the movie when that shit happened. So she escapes. She gets home. She knows what happened about this ghost. Now she's trying to help defeat all these different ghosts. Jigaboo Man shows up. Oh wait, this before Jigaboo Man shows up. The three house invaders, two white guys, house invaders, go into this guy's house. They beat his ass up, like they hit him with a bat, beat him up severely, tie him to a chair, and now they have a gun. One of them has a gun pointed at Ruby and the little daughter, and they're basically like interrogating him, trying to find out where this white woman is. And then they cut his pinky finger off with scissors.
They could have cut other parts off, so that's not that bad.
So the reason why they cut it off, they show Tap Dance Man with like, I think 2 fingers, like all of them have been cut, like 3 of them have been cut off or some shit like that. And Henry had asked him what happened there. He was like, oh, this? And he talks about this peach story where he was able to get peaches because one of the guys that owned the land told them that they can have Peaches. And at one point, he had took Peaches that was off the ground because he wasn't supposed to pluck them from the tree. He took 4 or 5 of them off the ground, and he went back to his farm. Well, not his farm, but like the land where his master owned them or whatever.
Mm.
He was like, "Where'd you get these peaches from?"
So he said he stole them. Okay.
Yeah, but he was like, "I didn't steal them. They was on the ground, blah blah," and they cut off fingers for each peach that he stole. That was supposed to be some symbolic to that story when he cut the pinky off. They didn't even showcase that. They just showcased the scissors being on it, and then you just hear the snip, and then his pinky's gone. So I forgot how he got out of the chair, but he was able to get out of the chair.
Mm.
My goodness. That's right. They took him downstairs into the basement, tried to hang him while the daughters were down there. So both of the white men like pulled him up on the ringer. Ruby went and got an axe, hit one of the dudes in the back with the axe and killed him. I was like, cool.
Okay.
I hit the other motherfucker. You know what I mean? But when the guy got down, she untied him, and the guy took off running. The dude grabbed the other guy's gun, went up there, started shooting at him, but he made it outside. I was like, fuck, miss your chance. He shot the dude in the leg outside. I was like, cool.
So he gonna walk up on him and shoot him, right?
This is where he gets his comeuppance, right? He's about to, like, to me, comeuppance is like, it has to be equal to everything that you've been going through to make it worth wow. And being equal is torturing this dude and then murdering him.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have accepted anything less.
I'm like, get your ass back in this house.
He shot that dude in the leg. He went up to him and he started beating the fuck out of him with the gun. He started pistol whipping this dude in front of all those white people. And it's funny, it's like, white people would have rushed him by now, but they didn't. They was just out there just staring. Get off of him. He ain't worried, blah, blah, blah. And he was talking, he was saying all kind of shit. He was beating that dude's ass. And Jigaboo Man was just laughing. He was like, get him. Now,
he was a hype man.
I was like, cool. I'd have a hype man too. Pregnant white woman comes out. This is the one that, like, the wife of the guy that he's beaten. She's like, get off of him, blah, blah, blah. And she's saying all this stuff. And then she says, you dirty nigger. I was like, what? Literally, when she said that, the tap dance man, the tap dance man was behind her. He popped his head out. I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And then I was thinking to myself, shoot her. I mean, I know she's pregnant, but fuck it. They did worse to you, bro. They did worse to you. Get her, man. He was like, tell that bitch to shut up. And he pointed his gun at her. And he was like, no, please don't, blah, blah, blah. Ruby comes outside with the bloody axe in her hand and Gracie. And they're like, Dad, don't do it. I'm like, nigga, what?
Baby girl, go back inside.
That's what he said. She didn't do it. It made me so mad. I was like, no, this doesn't end here, bro. This doesn't end here. Also, where's your other gun at? The gun that you shot the cop with.
The 1911?
Yeah. So he stops himself. He gets this sense of like his daughter pulls him out of it. And he starts walking back with the gun. And I'm like, fuck, dude, come on. They're going to come back harder than that.
Yeah, you got to take out the whole neighborhood.
Bro, you might as well. Because, like, look, they already think
shot a cop. The wife killed somebody. He killed somebody. It's like, what you think?
All the way. Go all the way.
Yeah, like, do it.
Madden it up. He could go all the way. Like, shoot this bitch. You know what I mean? Get him. But so they stop. The wife gets home. They go inside the house, and that's where you see this fire come up around the house. the ghost is trying to trap them inside to make them crazy. Everyone is out there like, where the fuck did this fire come from? Nobody's panicking. I'd be like, yo, there's some witchcraft around this motherfucker. We should be leaving. You know what I mean? As a white person, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Let's leave. So they in the house. And again, we've dealt with the 2 ghosts already, right? Well, this is when they start dealing with all the ghosts. Now you got the Vera. I mean, not Vera. The tap dance man. This is how they deal with him. He's inside, and he's in his own head, and they're at the movie theater, and he's like, he's telling him to sit down to watch this movie with him because, hey, that's where he was at before, right? When the mom was getting raped and shit like that. So this is like his torture. The tap dance man shows him the movie.
What movie? The movie he was watching when his wife was getting raped, or a movie of his wife getting raped?
The movie of his wife getting raped. Yeah, he shows him everything. Cat in the Bag, the song, the whole 9. I was like, damn, that's just fucked up. And he tells him, he was like, I don't know what else to do. He was like, well, you got a gun. He was like, I only got 1 more bullet left. And he's like, well,
you got to get more.
Basically, like you're supposed to kill yourself. Yeah. So he was getting to that point. The wife comes in, snaps him out of it. And the tap dance man shows up in the bedroom and he shoots the tap dance man. Tap dance man is in the corner and he was like, we're not done yet. He goes over with a cloth and wipes the grease from his face, and that's what kills the ghost. Like, he's not the tap dance man. He's not the jigaboo. He's not the shuck and drive guy. He is himself. He's a black man that doesn't have to do these things. I was just like, that is just an expensive lesson to learn because you used your only fucking bullet, bro. But okay, on a ghost at that. So
it shouldn't even. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Unless the gun was like metaphysical, like the gun and the bullet was like a part of his imagination or something. Like what do you?
Real gun, real bullet, use it on a ghost. I was like, whatever. Let's
that
move
makes
on.
no sense because the ghost shouldn't exist. But okay.
So so you think they're done? The wife was like, "Nah, we got 1 more." So now she goes downstairs and she's like all confident and strong and shit. She's supposed to be like this whole different woman. She got over all that shit she dealt with. And I was just like, this is so fucking stupid because that turn was so quick. She goes into the basement, turns around, door closes on her. She walks downstairs. There's like this little seance thing downstairs. There's like candles everywhere. There's fucking
So did they put that there, or did the ghost put that there?
The ghost, the man in the black hat. This is Ghost 0, right?
Ghost prom.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, I can give you what you want, and he shows a baby at his feet. She picks the baby up, and he makes her believe that it's her baby. She's crying, and she's like, my baby, my baby. And the little, like the nuns and shit that's in a line around her, they all hold up sickles and they're ready to start chopping that wood, bro. And all of a sudden she stands up and she's like, my baby's gone. And she's like holding nothing in her hand. And she starts saying, I see you, right? Basically, like, I know who you are. I see who you are.
I know what you're about.
You really are, yeah. And she just says that repeatedly over and over and over. I'm like, it's not.
And
really
he just magically disappears or something?
Doesn't magically disappear. He starts, his face goes from being like this melty color, like melty face, to like his normal Amish face, like when he was before that. The other ghosts disappear. And it's just him by himself, and he's realizing that, oh shit, what have I done? Type thing. And then his area starts getting darker and darker, meaning he's descending into hell, whatever, or he's going away. And then he finally it turns black.
Why would he suddenly have a change of heart after how many years?
It's not that he has a change of heart. It's just that I see who you really are. And it's almost like she denounces the demon in him, and the demon goes away to hell, and now what's left is the soul that remains that had did all that wrong shit before.
But
Now
how does that affect him though? Like, how does her, even if okay, if she did understand him or would see him or whatever,
because she
how
didn't
does
snap because he didn't remember when I said like if he
he had to
doesn't,
keep doing it? So
yeah,
could they just move another black family in there, or does he have to do every family that moves in?
he has to get every single family. If he
Okay,
doesn't break them, he gets sent to hell.
okay, so that makes sense. Okay,
And she was the last person to break. Like if he was able to break her, then he can get the rest of them. But because she defeated him,
mm,
then that was it. Like he was vanquished at that point. And I was
mm.
just like, what the fuck did I watch? And so they go upstairs, the fire dies down, and I was like, okay, so now because the ghost is gone, all this other shit disappears, right? Nope. All the white people, that's real. All the racism that happened, that's real.
Mm.
The bloodiness, you shooting a motherfucker, all that
The
shit
deaths that you did or caused,
still happened. So they go outside and they face all these cops that have drawn guns on them.
so
And
they're dead, right?
I don't know. It ends. Credits
Oh,
start rolling.
that was the scene of them being bloody on the porch.
Credits
Yeah,
start rolling. I was like, what the fuck did I watch?
yeah. Something that just to makes you feel upset for no reason.
Yeah. To me, that's what it was. It was again the story of why I hate white people. You know,
Yeah,
like into an
it's
actual movie.
it's weird because it's you never want to leave anybody who watches the show on a bad note unless you're intentionally trying to do that. And this sounds like it would have been a hell of a lot better if we were rooting for the black people to get their revenge on the white people.
Yeah.
This
And
sounds like it'd be a whole lot better, but
I mean that
it
would
just
be
sounds weird.
see, and that's what I mean. There's no comeuppance. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
even the guy that got shot, he like when he went to his house and loading his rifle or whatever, he was talking more shit to the husband of the woman that came up missing, calling him a pussy and all this other bullshit.
Mm.
Now remember, he got shot in his leg, and his leg was fucked up. He talked all this shit, made him feel bad. Like basically was talking shit throughout the whole movie about him. The
Mm.
guy went to the door, turned around, walked up to him, and fucking kicked his leg inwards, bro.
Mm.
Broke his shit in two. While he's on the ground crying and screaming, he starts stomping on his leg. I was like, how come that couldn't be the black man doing that?
Yeah.
And this white guy, he was like probably the least racist white person throughout this entire thing. But he was also like, I'll just go along with it because I have to fit in. You know, it
Yeah.
was like, their stories, character development, character arcs, fucking horrible. The story as a whole, horrible, like disgusting.
Do you know what
Very
this sounds like? This sounds like I mentioned Lovecraft Country. This
Mhm.
sounds like somebody who probably watched that and was like, I can write my own little Lovecraft Country story and be better. But
That's what I
it's
thought.
probably not as better.
I watched this and then I said, let me go back and see Us because I've never seen Us because again, I don't like horror stuff, but I had to.
Mm.
I seen Us and then I watched Lovecraft Country. No, I watched Lovecraft Country, then I watched Us. I was like, they just took elements from both of these things and they just threw it in here to make their story cohesive. It's how do I talk about all this racist shit and then sell it to
Hollywood.
a studio? Yeah, to have a studio. A studio would have been like, no, we don't want to fucking show this.
But it's
So they're like,
but it's just like Lovecraft Country though.
yeah, like, well, let's put a ghost into it. Okay, so how will we do that? So the ghost is racist. Okay, I'm listening. And like they did all this bullshit, bro. And like they did this day one, day two, day three thing.
Mm.
They did that shit in Lovecraft Country. Um the I would say Black Family in Peril. It didn't really have any similarities to us.
Mm.
But Ruby, the older daughter, she was in Us as well. She was in
Oh,
that
okay.
movie too. She played a really good part in there too. So like the acting is kind of consistent throughout.
Was this
Lovecraft
made by the
Country?
same studio that made Lovecraft Country or Us?
No. Jordan Peele did Lovecraft. No, Jordan Peele did Us.
Okay.
And Monkey Paw Productions is Jordan Peele's production company.
Mm.
I want to say he did Lovecraft Country too. Hold on, let me look that up real quick.
Because I was like, if this is made by the same studio, maybe they're trying to rehash the same idea since, one thing sold very well.
Because Lovecraft Country, that was HBO
Okay.
and us.
But that's like the vibe I get from watching the trailer and listening to what you're telling to me. It's like, let's have a black racist white people situation with our own supernatural twist to it.
Jordan Peele also did Lovecraft Country. He was one of the executive producers, and he wrote on it too. So
Okay.
that's So Lovecraft Country, bro, you never seen it. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. It's amazing. It's horror but adventure. So in Lovecraft Country, the monsters and shit weren't as scary as the racism, and they had some scary ass monsters.
Okay.
Honestly, I felt scared for black people when white people showed up, rather than when a monster showed up. And everybody in Lovecraft Country that needed to get comeuppance got their comeuppance. Everybody,
Okay.
like everybody got what was coming to them, and it was just as satisfying as you want it to be. I was like, fuck yes. Like I got off to seeing these bad guys getting what was coming to them. It was so like they did it so well. And here it was like, how much suffering can we put on this black family and still not have them have a happy ending? They went through so much shit, like the PTSD all the way up to the racism. It was like, what was this for? You just tortured
It's
a
just
black
like
family
this.
for no reason.
It's it's torture porn. I mean, that's exactly what that is.
That's exactly what it is. It disgusted me to no end. But again, as much as I said that about the story. The acting is phenomenal. The scene work is phenomenal. The story as a whole is not worth watching.
There's no reason to watch it. I get you, and that's usually what movie people don't want because they want to
Yeah.
draw in people. So it's like if
As
you
a
have
black
everybody,
person, I did not want to watch this, bro.
yeah. I mean, why would you? I mean, I can understand that, and yeah, like you're right because as blacks, we wouldn't want to watch a movie about racist white people unless unless it's a revenge story or something like that. Yeah, we watch the hell out of it then.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, white people wouldn't watch it because it's like unless you're like like we said earlier, unless you're racist, that makes you uncomfortable too. So,
Like in saying that, like the guys from Double Toasted, Lovecraft Country did do it better. They did the horror adventure, like they had so much more in their story than just racism. This was just racism and a ghost and a racist ghost. Still racism all the way around. In Lovecraft Country, it was like what you want: sci-fi, adventure. It was like it was a combination of different stories in one. No, I'm sorry, different genres. You had horror, adventure, sci-fi. You had romance, comedy. You have all that stuff in one series with an underlying story of racism as a whole because of the period that it was set in, and the overarching like fantasy of like monsters too. It's amazing shit, bro. It was amazing, and that was just season one. Unfortunately, that was done in 2020. We're still waiting on another season, but because of COVID and shit like that, it's like, fuck, man, this was so good. It was so fucking good. If you watch this, I feel like Lovecraft Country is like a palate cleanser. You know what I mean? That's what that is. But in saying that, I no longer want to see any more of this shit. I don't want to see racism anymore. I would rather see stories that was made in the 1950s and you just pretend racism didn't exist.
Yeah.
I would rather see that. I would rather see just black people and white people in the same scene and setting getting along with each other and just telling a really good cohesive story. And not saying that, oh, that's not realistic because racism was shit back then. I'm like, yeah, racism was thing. We know about that. We know about that. But let's pretend.
But it doesn't have to be in media in this make believe movie world.
Exactly. Let's pretend in a perfect world that there was no racism and we can just tell really good stories. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
we don't have enough of that.
like I wouldn't even mind seeing something that kind of hints at racism, where it's like, oh, I think it's gonna be about racism, and then like some weird, like with Lovecraft Country, some weird supernatural shit comes up, and you find out like, oh no, at the end the white people weren't racist. It's just whatever.
Yeah, like just something to get away from like look at what these white people keep doing to black folks.
Yeah.
Look at these evil white devils. It's like, come
Well,
on, man.
that's the thing. It's the thing in Hollywood. That's the reason why I just watched the Mortal Kombat movies. The main reason why the main character in that wasn't Johnny Cage. Hollywood has a thing where he was studio mandated by the studio to put him in there, so that's why they written him in there. It's one of those things where it's like if you're a white male, they don't want to promote that because it's not in the politically correct climate with Twitter and all this PC bullshit. The same reason why Disney didn't, or certain factions of Disney didn't want to bring back Luke Skywalker, because they're typical white male protagonists. It's like stupid, but
see, Mike, I feel like that's missing the point. The
it
white
is missing
protagonist thing is like the only reason is you having a white protagonist that is problematic is if he's saving
another race or another character or culture. Yeah.
If he's saving women or saving like oppressed people of color.
Or if your movie is written around of him, like only the white guy can save you type bullshit.
Yeah. But if you take that out, it's no longer like that. Like if you look at Mandalorian, it's not like that anymore. You have a hero. He wears a mask and he's not white. You know what I mean? Like you have you had a woman that was a strong female character that didn't need saving. You just so happen to show that, I'm sorry, most of your Jedis, unfortunately, because of the history of the movie, are white.
And it's like they're already established. You can't pretend that your backstory of your shit doesn't exist. You can't do that.
Exactly. Just don't make any more shit like that. That's the issue.
It's all about the story you tell. Like it's like you can say, even you can come back and make a movie about Luke Skywalker or whatever. As long as the movie isn't writing him out to be like the great white hope that's going to save everybody. But granted, that's kind of what Star Wars is. But that's Star Wars. So it's like, what do you do? But as far as stuff outside of that, you can just make a movie with a white protagonist, but just don't have it. I mean, as long as he ain't portraying a black character or something like that, or usurping somebody else's culture or being a great white hope, then he's fine. Just don't write your movie about that.
I say this even though after what I just said about the whole Lovecraft Country, it's like taking Lovecraft Country and taking out racism totally and not making it make sense. It's like it's supposed to be racist because that's how it was originally set. Now, if you were to say, oh, they went to this far off land or this different planet that didn't have racism in it, then it makes sense because they have shit like that, sci-fi in Lovecraft Country. But if it doesn't make sense, just like saying Luke Skywalker isn't the savior, it's like, but he was made to be that in the first place. That's who we know who Luke Skywalker is throughout the entire thing. You can't take that away. You diminish the story as a whole if you do that.
Yeah.
But moving forward, when you create shit,
then it doesn't have to be a straight male white protagonist.
Yeah.
If you're creating
put racism in it, don't put sexism in it.
If that's not part of the story you're telling, why does it have to be there?
It don't.
Yeah.
It don't. But like I said, I'm tired of racism. I don't want to see it in any more movies. I like all of our movies. That's all it is. It's all kind of stereotypical comedy, or it's this racism shit. Amistad all the way up to now. It's like it's just
it's slavery. It's roots, slavery, the civil rights era, and white people hanging black people. That's it. That's all it is.
I don't want to see that no more. I don't want to see that. I don't want to go outside and hate white people. I don't. I really don't. Shit like this makes
you already got enough in life that's making us feel like we don't. Well, we want to see it in our entertainment.
Yeah, I don't need to see that because I know what happens. I didn't have to be born back then to know what these people have been through. I have family members that tell me about shit
Mhm.
like that. You know, like I don't need to have this shit, and it's not entertaining. This
No,
shit was not entertaining, bro.
it
Like,
hits too close to home, especially with like when we have old family members. Like my dad's grandfather was a slave. It's like people think that shit happened like 200, 300 years ago. It's like, no, that was just
dude,
like 80 some years ago.
dude, my grandfather was born in
Mhm.
1919. He just missed slavery. Like,
Mhm.
just missed it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
damn, dog. No,
Yeah,
no.
like my
Ugh.
dad's grandfather was still a slave, still living on the farm that he was a slave on, and all that shit. It's like, come on, man. It's like we don't. Yeah, it's like we don't need. I mean, maybe younger kids, maybe people outside of our age, like younger kids who grew up in the thousands, maybe they need reminders because they don't know. But I don't know, or maybe they feel that way. But I'm tired of seeing that shit too. I'm tired of seeing us as like always being gangbangers in movies and all of that, bullshit. I'm tired of seeing BET, Martin, and all of that dumb shit. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. I want regular ass stories like you make for white people. Like, I want
Yeah.
good sci-fi that has black people in it because, contrary to popular belief, I still believe black people do survive in outer space. You know what I mean? I still believe that. Um, like I want to see good romance movies that don't have to deal with fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Notebook. You know how everybody talks about the fucking Notebook? I seen that shit.
Yeah, the high school movie from back in the day.
Yeah, but like
Mm.
I want to see shit like that for black people though. We don't get stuff like that. We get
Yeah. It would.
these.
We get stuff that's black oriented. We get Tyler Perry
Yeah,
movies or movies where like black couples. It's like the whole movie's about black couples and relationships and shit, or
yeah,
that
man.
dumb shit.
I don't like the stereotype stuff. I just want to be like I want to see and I want to be in really good stories that we tell that don't have anything to do with our suffering or our
Yeah.
past. That's why I
Yeah.
love sci-fi so much. It's like you can get
Mm-hmm.
away from that shit. It's like science fiction. You know what I mean?
You could literally do anything you want.
Anything you want, bro. I wish we
Yeah.
had more black people in Star Wars though. Like that's the only thing. It's like, damn, because they show them here and there, but it's like,
Yeah, it's like I always say whenever we talk about sci-fi and or like those post-apocalyptic movies, like we always lose the race war.
mhm. That was a giant. I can't believe somebody didn't make a movie about that yet. Oh yeah, there was a giant race war before like our stay here on Ellipsis. Ellipsis like
Before
this.
everything became perfect, we call that the bad time.
You know what I mean? Call that the third Dark Ages. I think the third. Fuck. Yeah,
Oh, man.
I'm done. So that was my rant, complaint,
Let it all out,
criticism, but also acclimates, more so for the actors, for them.
Mm,
Yeah, that was all of it, man.
that,
So
that should be the title of the video. Like Terrence's 2-hour rant of them.
yeah, of them.
Tied in something like with a pun or something. I don't know
Yeah,
how you do it,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
well.
Them was not for me. I can say that. That was
Yeah,
shit.
I'll say. How do you? I'm trying to think of a good like title, like Terrence hates them white people, something like that. Why we hate them white people? How about that?
That's the story of why I hate white people.
Oh
You
man,
make it just completely out of context.
hey, it would get clicks, and then they see it and be like, "Oh, this is about them."
Yeah, this is about them, just them, not us. Them.
Oh man. But all right, YouTube, if you guys want to see more of these 2-hour rant videos or anything like that, let us know down in the comments below. And what word should they leave, Jolly?
Let me not say that. Type in tap dance, man, in the comment section below if you made it this far. Oh no, my bad. Type in jazz hands if you made it this far.
All right, YouTube. We will see you later.
Stay safe out there, y'all.